Hello and welcome to Joshika's Anime Bag. Today, we're going to do something a little bit different. Normally I like to analyze an anime as thoroughly as I can without spoilers, using it as an opportunity to talk about certain subjects I feel like touching on. However, there are some animes that, for one reason or another, be it spoilers, underwhelmingness, or just a lack of things to discuss, that I can only talk about for a short time. So, to make up for the lack of content, I figured I'd review 3 of them back to back. So, without further ado, here we go! In a steampunk-ish sci-fi alternate 1940s, there are a group of fighter pilots dubbed the Children who fight a war they may not quite understand. And that's pretty much all I can tell you about the setting without spoiling it. See, Skycrawlers reveals its world to you one bit at a time, slowly unveiling the mystery of who the Children are and what their place in this war and their world is. As far as quality goes, all I have to say is Mamoru Oshii, for those of you who don't know, the director of Ghost in the Shell. One thing I love about Mamoru Oshii is that he never gives you the full picture. He lets you figure things out for yourself rather than telling you point blank what to think of his work. That being said, he's not a pretentious nutjob either. You may not understand his movies, and by extension Skycrawlers, upon a first viewing, but you'll never walk away feeling like you don't have enough to work with. And if nothing else, you'll have a few interesting things to think about while you're putting the pieces together. Despite it being a movie about sci-fi fighter pilots, there actually isn't much action in Skycrawlers. Instead, it goes for a quiet, contemplative tone, allowing you room to think along with the characters as they figure out the world they live in. The technicals work great with this, using soft edges, gentle color, and ambient sounds more than background music. Oh, one more thing. There's a reason the planes are designed like that, but I'll let you figure that one out for yourself. Skycrawlers gets 4 stars out of 4. In the distant future, espers have come into being. Wielding great power, they have become feared by the world at large. However, it seems the Ashram Corporation has taken pity on them, and has taken some in while training them to use their powers for the greater— Yeah, this is starting to sound familiar, isn't it? But, hey, a tired concept can still be imbued with new life! Too bad this anime doesn't do that. I don't want to say this is a bad anime. The world they live in fits the conflict, there technically aren't any plot holes I can think of, and the characters, while not deep, don't grate on my nerves at any point. That being said, we can only go through the steps of vampires/espers/mutants equal minorities. Don't fear them because of something they have no control over because they aren't all bad. It's a good enough message, even if it is a bit unrelatable. Seriously, most minorities I know can't toss people through friggin' buildings. But if you don't do anything to stick out, watching your show is going to feel like wading through a kiddie pool full of used papier-mâché glue. If you like watching espers throw each other through skyscrapers, I'd give it a try if you're so inclined, but keep in mind, the animation was just below average for its day, and hasn't aged too well. Oh, and the ending sucks! I can't spoil it, but it's abrupt, nonsensical, and poorly planned. He's otherwise barely ekes by with 2 stars out of 4. It's the near future, and world peace has finally been attained. Tank fighting, however, lives on as a sport played exclusively by girls' schools. Miho Nishizumi, a transfer student to Aware Academy, has been drafted into Team Anglerfish to revive the school's long-defunct tankery division to join the International Tankery Tournament. Team Anglerfish must now use skill, teamwork, and the power of friendship to attain victory against daunting foes in the tournament to come. So yeah, aside from the tank fighting as sports idea, the basic plot has been done in approximately a gajillion different anime. That being said, the characters as a whole are made likable enough so that you actually care about what's happening to them. The idea of using tank fighting as the main attraction was a brilliant one because, well, aside from the obvious, properly operating a tank is something that does require a lot of team coordination, so we see why their close bond is important to them both on and off the field. Fight scenes, on top of being fresh and innovative in a genre ruled by superpowered kung fu and giant robots, are also well-planned, nail-biting, pulse-pounding affairs that will leave you on the edge of your seat as the girls struggle for victory. Now, tanks aren't something I've researched extensively, but from what I've heard from some of my tank buff friends, both military and civilian, the show is fairly well researched on the machines being used, which, as always, is something I immensely appreciate, even if they don't get everything right. The show's not perfect, however. While there are more than a few memorable moments, the tanks will typically be the ones stealing the show. As I said before, the characters are likable enough, but they aren't exactly memorable, save for Miho. Honestly, after I was done with the show, I couldn't really remember any of them or their character traits, which isn't a good thing in a character-driven drama. Another thing is that it's part of the ever-growing cute girls doing things cute girls normally wouldn't be doing genre. And needless to say, that's a joke that kinda wore itself out a long time ago. And these characters don't really do anything to stand out from the moe crowd. Or each other, for that matter. Still, Girls in Panzer was a pleasant surprise for me, and I give it 3 stars out of 4. So until next time, good night and, hey, stay awesome.